Hey y'all!
Hey y'all!
Welcome back.
Yes.
I'm Moriah.
And I'm Retidzo.
And you're listening to
Hella Foreign,
the podcast,
where we share a different perspective.
Yes, y'all. I can't even explain how excited I am. I feel like a little kid in a candy store.
Maybe we are.
Maybe I am. I'm like living the dream right now. Living the dream. But yes, this is our last episode of this season.
Yeah, season 1. We made it, yo.
We made it to the end. We
12
had a
episodes.
plan.
Yes.
We had an idea, and we just went for it, and bam, here we are.
Yep.
But yes, in our last episode, we do have a special surprise and guests.
Yay.
Yes, plural. But yes, Retidzo, take it away.
Yeah, so our guests on the show today, they have an amazing, amazing podcast that you may know about. They are from the Bay. And they come here representing the town, and yes, I mean the very much City of Oakland. So please help me welcome them to the show. We got Wokeland.
Hey.
We got Wokeland in the house.
What up? What up?
Thank you guys for coming up on board, and we're really excited to have you.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yes, happy to be here.
Yes,
definitely.
So to start off, please introduce yourselves. Y'all go by the Simones. Who are the Simones?
Wow, who are the Simones? Well, I am Elsa.
And I'm Anayo.
And collectively we make up the
We
Simones.
are the Simones, yes.
Now you want to answer that question? Who are the Simones?
So the Simones are a pair of two dope African queens.
Okay.
Yes.
Born and raised in San Jose, California.
Okay.
Yes, shout out San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Now repping the East Bay, Oakland to be precise, aka Wokeland. And yeah, we live in West Oakland, California. We've lived here for a few years now, and we love it. And we out here, we work, we live, we love, we do everything out here, and we try to represent the town, but also San Jose and like the greater Bay Area and Black women and all of that. So
Okay.
That's right.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Just a follow-up question. Is there like a significance to the name Simone?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's hear it, y'all.
I don't like y'all.
You know what? We've never really discussed or went into depth about where the name came from, really. But and without saying too much, the Simones were created in Chicago.
Okay.
And Anayo actually came up with the name.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the Simones are a pair of two Black girls who are just trouble when they are together.
Oh,
And
okay.
Yeah.
we were causing some trouble when this energy just came upon us, and we called that energy Simone.
Yes.
The Simones.
Oh.
And so it happened in Chicago. We were acting up. Anayo came up with the name. I said I want it.
Right.
And we needed to name this kind of energy.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that's Simone is what the name was. So when we're together, we are the Simones. We basically read each other's minds. We always match each other's energy.
Mm-hmm.
We always have the same objective. So that's what it is. It's a collective. It's a collective energy.
Yes.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Almost
So-
like the essence or spirit of like the partner in crime that
Yes.
is awoken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Love the word.
If there's a situation going down and the Simones need to activate, we will activate.
Activate.
feel
I
it.
like
On
I like this
site.
verbiage going on. Okay.
Yes.
Activate.
Dope. Okay. So going further into the Simones and what you guys do together on the podcast. So what is Oakland? Why did you guys start? What's the purpose and main goals? Share a couple of success points with your, with your listeners and followers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Oakland, first of all, is a very special place, and it's unmatched and it's undeniable. So we've always known that. I think everybody who is from the Bay Area knows that, and I think that its presence is actually felt just throughout the country.
I have to agree on
So it was extra special moving here and really feeling that energy and really feeling the presence and the people and really the spirit of what Oakland is and what it represents. So for us, just naturally moving here and specifically in West Oakland and kind of seeing, what the day-to-day is like, how people live in this neighborhood, the landscape, how the landscape was quickly changing, and just kind of the beauty of Oakland. Really, we saw it up close and personal and actually just became really inspired.
Yeah.
So we felt like we had to talk about it, being two girls from San Jose who live 40 minutes away from Oakland, and always growing up having some preconceived notions about what Oakland was about. A lot of the negative, gets amplified, and you hear a lot about the dangers of Oakland, but you don't know exactly how Oakland came about, how, African Americans migrated here from the South and from the Midwest, and the Porters and just all the different history that we got to learn and really see the impacts of living in West Oakland. So we were like, oh, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about Oakland.
Yeah. And I think in terms of, kind of relating to people and it resonating with people, I think a lot of people, obviously right now there's this Oakland, I don't want to call it a renaissance, but like this new group of people moving into Oakland that, and some are Black, some are not Black, and they're kind of, capitalizing on the culture of Oakland.
Okay.
But also, some are capitalizing, but some are also just trying to awaken it. So one of our guests on our past show or episode was like, it kind of took people moving here for people even from Oakland natives, locals, to like realize, wow, Oakland has this certain like magic that, has always been here, but it took people coming here that are trying to capitalize off of it for us to realize like, hey, we should be the ones telling Oakland's story or putting Oakland out there. So that's why we try our best to get people who are from Oakland, born and raised, on the show to talk about it, because we would never, want people to be like, oh, they're coming here and, trying to pop off of our like, city.
Yeah.
So we kind of just wanted to create a space for them to tell their story, which also allows us to learn more about the city we now live in and love, and give them a platform to just share, about their city. So that was our whole goal.
Okay. Just a follow-up question. Is there something in particular that triggered the drive to, hey, we have to start this podcast? Or is it just a compilation of... A compilation? Did I say that right? The group.
A compilation
of all those things that you were sort of saying with, the gentrification and getting to move to Oakland, or was it like something in particular?
I mean, it was definitely a combination of all of that. I mean, to get us to start the podcast, period, it was just basically people telling us like, you guys have this, like, this is like when you guys are together, you guys have this amazing like chemistry or like even voice synergy. I don't know why people are like, with our voices, people are like, oh, you guys just like the voices, whatever. So that was kind of like
the Simones.
Yeah. Right. That was like the initial sort of like maybe a bit more vain reason we started the podcast. But then when we were thinking about what it was going to be about, it was like, okay, we're out here in Oakland. We're meeting all these dope people. It is literally the exact opposite of what our parents told us. Like, do people that are moving here know about this? Like, we need to tell them. Like, we were always going to start a podcast, but it was like, and it was going to be about Oakland, but it sort of just like, as we started living here and meeting more people, it was like, well, we want to showcase like this side of Oakland. So that kind of became Wokeland as it is now. Yeah.
Very nice. So I grew up here too, or rather, I can't just say me because my counterpart also did. We grew up in the East Bay as well. And growing up, we went to Oakland. Me and my family went to Oakland quite frequently, so I have seen it change over the years. So what are some changes, or rather, before I get to that question, did you guys also grow up like coming to Oakland like frequently from San Jose?
We would come out to Oakland, but I mean, like how we're 28 now, so like back then I went away to college for 4 years, so I didn't experience much nightlife out here. But yeah, we would pass through Oakland, come to restaurants out here,
and I feel like most of the stuff back then was in like San Francisco. So it was like
gotcha.
Yeah, in terms of like going out and whatnot.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what have you seen that's significantly changed, that's kind of, like, blown your mind about, like, the city of Oakland? And it could be just, like, about, like, the architectural landscape or the city landscape itself to, like, the social movement or the culture.
I think one of the biggest things is the ever-shrinking Black population.
Okay.
Actually, it's so funny. My godmother, who just moved back to California, she's from the Bay, also was like, where are all the Black people?
Yeah.
And she's a bit older, so she kind of has a better memory of what the Bay and specifically Oakland looked like. And she was like, yo, I have never seen so many non-Black people in Oakland before in my life. And just kind of growing up, like, that's just what I remember in a good way, just like what Oakland looked like anyway. So to me, that's one of the biggest things that stands out.
Yeah, definitely that. And for me, like, I would say just East Oakland and how different like East Oakland looks like.
Right.
From, excuse me?
I said right. Like.
Oh yeah. Girl, East Oakland is like what? Like from the lake upward, like, granted, once you still get up and towards maybe like 70s, 80s, 90s, like, okay, that still looks like East Oakland. But I remember when I was younger and like we would come out because my parents are Nigerian. They would go to parties all up through Oakland, and we would like go, and it was like no matter where we were, like international, seminary, like you saw all. Can we cuss on this show?
Yes.
Girl.
Okay. Like all the like hood niggas would be out, like it would just be like it would be all like everybody was out. You'd see all the like muscle cars and all this it was just hella active and like not necessarily in a bad way, just like it was just super active. And like I remember like going to my uncle's house in East Oakland, and it was just always super active in that area. And now it's like, active, but in a whole different way. Like, active with like people jogging with their little dogs, their little chihuahuas, and like, kayaking on the lake, or like, just like
new sidewalks,
like
bikes.
Bike lanes, like what?
Yeah.
Like all kinds of stuff. And like, where are the hood niggas at? Like, where did they go? So I'm just like, East Oakland to me is like, whoa, like completely different from what I remember when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Following up on the love of Oakland, what would you say were and are some of your Oakland favorites, whether it be your favorite place to go, like eating, sightseeing, places to hang, that you enjoyed back then? enjoy now, or new finds as well?
Yeah. Good question.
That's a good question. Back then, I remember we would always just come up for like Ethiopian Easter, and there was an Ethiopian Orthodox church that we would go to, and it was right next to a park. I don't remember where that is located. So that I have great memories with that. But now I love to eat. I love to eat at Soli. What did you think I was gonna say? You thought I was gonna say belly? I love belly too. But as of late, I haven't eaten there in a while.
I know. I don't think I've heard you talk about it in a minute.
Yeah. I love Soli Vegan, and it's actually Black owned.
Okay.
I've never been there.
It's a vegan soul food restaurant. So good.
It's really good.
What else? Where else do we like to go?
I love Cater to You, which is this it's also a Black owned like little soul food, literally hole in the wall spot.
Okay.
What street is that on? Telegraph? It's
something?
like across the street from Soul Space.
Okay.
Telegraph and
it's
what?
this Black woman, Telegraph and I think 17th or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so the owner there, Mama T, as she is affectionately known, owns the spot, and she like has this amazing story about how she started the restaurant. She started it when she was in her 50s, and now she has like a whole like company based around it. But anyway, they have a bomb ass fish sandwich, and it's just like really good. And I also love, I just want to shout out Okella, which is another Oakland-based brand, and they do a super fun party, I think once a month, called Sweat House. And it is like so fun. Literally, you go in there, it's like the vibes are perfect. The DJ Cream, shout out, is always on point. It's just always fun when you go there. No one's on their phones. Everyone's literally sweating.
Okay.
It's a pop-in party. So
like
that's
a real
like
turn up.
It's actually a real turn up. Super diverse. They play all kinds of music, like hip hop, and then like that like alternative R&B. That's definitely an Oakland favorite of mine.
I like to walk around in our neighborhood, to be honest. I just like to walk around.
Lower Bottoms, shout out
to Lower Bottoms. Yeah, those are some of our favorite places.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. So one thing I really admire about your guys' podcast, I mentioned this when it dropped, is that one, you guys have an episode once a month, and two, you always have a guest that ties back to the roots of Oakland, whether it be someone from the Black Panther, and others. So what are like some of the challenges you guys have had, like gathering, like figuring out like who to talk to and like contacting them and getting them on the show?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you.
Yes,
you're welcome.
We appreciate that. We see you paying attention, attention to detail and stuff. That means a lot. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We actually have our podcast once a month because we are
a mess.
We are a hot mess.
You mean human?
Yeah.
Right. We're hella
very
human, y'all.
human. We're too human. So we have it once a month just because we know ourselves, and we just know, like, if we, like y'all, like, I commend you guys, admire you guys so much that you guys are able to do this, like, every week, because that is a commitment, and, like, it takes a lot of work to do a podcast. People don't know. Like, they think you just hop on the mic and start talking. Like, no.
Not at
you
all.
sure don't.
You can't.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. And we've done that before, too, but... like there's also editing and like making sure the sound is right. If you have guests, making sure they're available and like keeping everybody on time and just coordinating it, like that stuff is like it's work. So anyway, shout out to y'all for that. But yes,
thank you.
We like, what was the question?
Sorry. We do it once a month, and then I'm so done with the Nio. And how do we go about like reaching out to people?
The challenges. Well, I mean, you answered the question.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted like it's more so because we do it once a month. It gives us a bit of luxury of like thinking in advance who's the best person we could have like to speak about this topic in the area.
Yeah.
And it gives us time to reach out to them and like coordinate with them and all of that stuff. And people are actually surprisingly very receptive, have been receptive so far to like being interviewed and coming on the show and meeting up with us to talk. We haven't had any like super difficulties yet trying to get anybody on the show, but
actually, and that's a testament to just the people of Oakland just being there to support and kind of share knowledge and wisdom, and taking time out of their day to kind of coordinate with us. So we haven't really had difficulty. Of course, people are very busy. Like our nightlife episode, getting like there were a couple other people that we wanted on the on the show that just weren't in town for a few weeks, and because people conduct business and they have things to do outside of their whatever career, and we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and how their schedules can be. So you just try and make it work, and we've shifted things around and delayed things and worked around someone's schedule accordingly just to make it work. So we try to be as flexible as we can to other people's schedules, but it's been pretty good to us so far.
Nice.
Good.
As a follow-up question, I have to ask, how did you get the amazing Fabby Davis on your show? Mr. Fab.
Shout out to Mr. Fab, yo.
Fabby Davis, the Prince of the O.
The Prince of the O. And that's another testament to Oakland and people from Oakland who are just down and
They're
ready.
so down.
And if you watch his social media presence, the kind of guy, what you see is what you get.
Literally.
He's just super smart and super open and willing just to share. So actually, Anaya reached out to him because all of this was pre thought out and predetermined. We're like, oh my God, if we can get Mr. Fab on this would be great. Yeah. Okay. And so Anaya reached out and he was,
and he literally responded like hella quick.
Hella quick. On Instagram.
Yeah. So we literally slid in his DMs, and this is when we first started. So we didn't even really have followers like that, or like we didn't have anything on our page. Dope. We had like maybe like one post, like
maybe like 15 followers.
Yeah, it was like he did not even care. He responded immediately and was like, "Yeah, bet. Like where at?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" I like ran to Elsa. I was like, "Oh my God, he responded." So he told us to come to his store. We went over to the Dope Era store.
Shout out to Dope Era.
Okay. Yeah, this is before. Now he's on Broadway, downtown Oakland. We went to his store when he was over in like North Oakland. And we just talked to him. It was like kind of chaotic. Like, I mean, he's a rapper, so there's always like hella people around him. And, while we were literally, as we're doing the interview, he's trying to book a flight. I don't know where he was trying to go, but like his dude was shoving a phone in his face, like, you want this one, you want that one, like which one? He's like, let me get this. Like, we're trying to talk to him, and we were nervous. It was but it ended up working out because he gave really, really awesome answers. And now we we see him out in the streets, we say what's up, like.
Dope.
Yeah, we actually saw him the other day. He was like, "Where's the episode?" We were like, "Yo, we've been sent you that, but we'll send it again, I guess."
Yes,
so he's amazing to say the least. But again, like that lets you know if you reach out to people in Oakland anyway, and these are like good-hearted people, like you'll get the response that you're looking for.
Like I will definitely say, like, just to anybody listening, to you guys, if you're ever wondering, like, like this person might not respond, they might be out of my reach, like definitely just reach out and see what happens. Like we've actually reached out to a lot of people that we were not. We didn't think would say anything back to us, and they did. So
very nice.
It's definitely just try. You have nothing to lose type of thing.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know the words to describe this, but I feel like there's this like unspoken camaraderie in Oakland. It's like I almost want to say it's like a unknown pack. Like you just know if you're Black in Oakland, you're gonna show out like for the culture.
Exactly.
So that's dope to just hear, even for the show, just, let's do it.
Yeah. And he didn't even know we were Black. He thought we were gonna be some white women.
Y'all said that when you showed up.
I mean, and that's another, like, it's so funny, and that goes to show you just, like, how humble and willing he is to just share his knowledge and just communicate with people, because we don't have photos of ourselves on at the time, and we still don't, actually.
There's like one, if you scroll in a certain post, you have to find the post and then scroll, and you'll see.
I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Really? We have one?
Yeah, but it's like not even of us. It's like it's us, but it's like from the back or something. Like it's at our.
Look, and that's not even supposed to be up. Let me
and
see it.
And you knew about it.
You're like, hold on.
Just get on this interview.
I'm back. I'm on the interview. She's like scrolling in the phone. So, we're looking for it.
It is so.
Like the people aren't supposed to know.
Oh, she is in it. You know, you're in it. Oh, okay, yeah, we are in it.
I've seen a picture of you guys on like a blog. I can't remember what the blog is called.
Oh, what Kay says.
No idea what the name was. I can't remember.
Okay.
Well,
shout out to what Kay says. Either way, yeah, she was just on our transplant episode. But yeah, I mean, at the time though, we had like 10 followers. One like photo, one post, not a photo of us anyway. So when we confirmed this meeting with him, you know, we're just pulling up. We could have been customers shopping at his store.
Yeah.
And so he was like, you know, hey, and we're like, oh, hey, we're with Wokeland. And he's like, oh, okay, this is what y'all look like. Y'all Black women? I didn't know y'all was some sisters. And we're like, yeah. Wow. So again, goes to show you, like, he was willing to meet with anybody just to have a chat and you know what I'm saying, drop some gems. So shout out to him again.
Dope.
Nice.
With the pod, what would you say? I feel like you sort of answered it in the beginning, but if there's like a specific takeaway that you want your listeners to experience while listening to Oakland, is there something that outside of just Oakland's story, like, hey, when you listen to any of our episodes, here's sort of what we want you to take away?
For me, I'm Elsa, by the way. I feel like, I don't know if do people know I don't know.
They gonna know now.
Right.
Well, let me ask you guys this. I'm gonna answer your question, sorry. When you guys hear us talk, like, do you know who is who?
Yeah.
I think so.
Like, you guys have two distinct voices.
Like, you're Elsa.
Okay.
Wait, let's talk. Go. Say something.
Okay, hello.
Anaya.
Okay.
Anaya has like this like smooth, soft spoken, like,
oh wow,
you know what I mean?
I feel like,
and Elsa, you have this like, like you're like that like hype, passionate.
Aww,
you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I remember.
But
cool.
A difference is good though. At least that's what we've heard. Because then if you guys both sound the same, it's kind of hard to decide.
It's hard to see.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Good to know. But yeah, I mean, for me, the takeaway I would want people is just consciousness, or to seek consciousness and open consciousness, right? So that can start. If that means opening up your ideas of what Oakland is, great. If that means opening up what you think of the world, or just asking questions and being curious about why things are the way that they are, because that's what I strive to do in my everyday life. So yeah, for me, it's just consciousness, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the same thing, and also just like learning more about like people, and like hearing a story straight from somebody's mouth is always going to give you a better perspective than like reading about something from somebody else. So I just like that, you know, people can kind of tell their own story, and you know, you can kind of take it for what it is. But yeah, definitely just a higher consciousness about Oakland, the people of Oakland, how diverse they are. We've talked to a bunch of different people from Oakland, and they've all been super different, but all at the same time very, very conscious. So, just a higher consciousness, and then higher curiosity about people in Oakland.
Yeah, I feel like when I first heard about Wokeland, thanks, Retizzo, because you're like, hey, Wokeland, new thing. But I think I had, even before you guys had any episodes released, like, I was just pure joy, because I know growing up, you know, my family's from Haiti, and they just go based off of any stereotypical vision of what Black people look like,
Sure.
especially in Oakland.
Right.
Like, we lived in Martinez, and and we would just commute basically to the Bay for like fun festivities and activities. But anytime we said Oakland, anytime Oakland was mentioned, it's just this automatic negative connotation, like, oh, that's the hood, you gotta be safe, I don't want you out there too late. And I just feel like there's so much more to that space and that community. And I have a twin brother, and he's like he's out of the area now, but like every time I talk to him, he's like, I just can't wait to get back, because even though we weren't born in Oakland, you know, we never actually he lived in Oakland throughout school, but it's just this like beautiful thing that more people need to know about, and it's hard to describe. So I love y'all, and just had to say that. Yes, showing that different perspective is well needed. But we will take a quick commercial break before we close out the show.
We got commercials.
Yeah, we got a little breakdown. You know, you have to go to the bathroom and stuff. You know, clear your throat. I don't know. Check your phone.
Just say that.
What? We're human. Hello.
Right.
But yes, we will be right back after these messages. This episode is sponsored by Indie Things Possible, where independent doesn't mean alone. ITP is a nonprofit who assists independent entertainers and entrepreneurs by providing digital and hands-on professional development, as well as connecting them to business, professional, and community resources to succeed and achieve their career goals. Check out more information on our Facebook and Instagram page, Indie Things Possible, INDIETHINGSPOSSIBLE. Again, Indie Things Possible, where independent doesn't mean alone. Hey y'all,
We're back.
we are back with the Simones.
Yes.
So before we close out this episode and do our whole little share circle shenanigans, I want to ask a rando question. So I know with sort of what you're mentioning, just the whole life of Oakland and whatnot, I know that our people stay ready to march or peacefully protest some of the social matters that are going on. And I just feel like, just the way I was brought up, and you know, our culture, we don't really protest or march for things, because like in Haiti it's like you die. So it's like you don't go out in the streets like that. And then when you come here, I've been to 2 marches so far. I recently went to the Black Women's March that was on Saturday, on the 9th, June 9th. And it was about the empowerment and uplifting women, and speaking about hearing our voices and whatnot. But the whole time I was trying to come in with open minds. Like, I just want to see the purpose and outcome of this march. Like, what is it going to do on this cause? So I definitely want to put it on y'all. Have you guys been to a march? What are your viewpoints on that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm surprised you say that, because first of all, shout out to all the Haitians out there. IT, big up yourself.
Yes.
I mean, y'all led the revolution. This, like, y'all were rebels. Toussaint Louverture, like, all of that. So I'm surprised you say that. But I mean, that you know, now I don't know what present day protesting might be like and what the political climate in Haiti is now.
Yeah.
But I love Haiti. I'm inspired by all of the revolutions in the Caribbean, and particularly Haiti. And to your question, you know, it's funny because actually in my own, like, where my parents grew up in the village that they grew up in Ethiopia before they moved to like the bigger city, they are in Admacho. Shout out to Admacho and shout out to Gonded. But they are known for being soldiers and fighters and rebels and always fighting injustices, like those are where them thugs, they're like the Oakland of Ethiopia.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny, and even though obviously I've never been to the village there, but you know, I think there is something to be said about kind of how I grew up and how I see things. So I've been to quite a few marches out here. None of which my parents know about. You know, with like Eric Garner and Trayvon and basically I've been to, I lost count, but I've been to a handful of protests and marches in Oakland. Okay. I've been to a women's march in San Jose. I did not go to the most recent one that was out here. But I think it's important. I think it's important for us to unify. I think it's important for us to mobilize, but I think it's also important for us to act and back some action into that. So I want to see us go into these city council meetings. I want to see us, you know what I'm saying, force legislation upon our city and local governments. I study political science, so for me, like, I know the importance of a local government. And while the federal government is super important and the executive branch, it, of course, has its own powers, I think there's something to be said about what your city council, what your mayor, what your council, senators, your governor can do for you. And I think we should pay more attention to that. Okay. And if everybody in their own state paid more attention to what their mayors were doing, what their council members are doing, going to those meetings and making sure we hold them accountable, I think we can, you know what I'm saying, do a little bit more good. Yeah. So I think all of that is important. I think we need to do all of that.
Yeah. And like similarly to Elsa, like I've definitely in the past have gone to a handful of marches, protests, especially around police brutality in Oakland. And it's definitely, in my opinion, like great to go out and see, you know, just everybody show up, like everybody's so unified and like together on this one front. Yeah. But for me, like kind of like what you were saying, like what then happens after the protest? What happens after the march, you know? Like, do people just kind of go home and like feel satisfied that they marched and just kind of leave it at that? Or are they now like, you know, trying to get involved in their local government, city council, canvassing, calling their senators? Like what happens after the protest to actually create change? Because, you know, protests and marches to me are great visually and to show a united front. But yes. I don't really know how, like, that united front, like what does that do pretty much after the issue has kind of faded away from social media or from the media in general? Like, what does that protest, how does that now impact, you know, what's going to happen next? So I've been personally just looking at more ways to kind of do more calling into city council and to senators, donating a lot more to people who are actually on the ground creating change and trying to create change, where I know that I can't, or it's like maybe not possible for me, or I'm not at the city or wherever, and just trying to get more involved in local groups. But yeah, I don't know. I've always been kind of on the fence about marching, to be honest, especially after a lot of these police brutality marches were happening. Trayvon Martin, like Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, all of them. Like we all showed up to all of them, right. But it was kind of like, you know, okay, now what?
Yeah, it's like it's still happening.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
I feel like I came to a consensus, like marches or protests are great for releasing the emotional energy behind the movement, or, you know, specific thing people are trying to represent, fight for, make more awareness on. Yeah. But then it's like when I was at the march, the whole time I was looking around me, and yes, it was beautiful to see all these wonderful sisters around, you know, holding hands, having signs. But I'm like, but we all of us here know what's going on. You know what I mean? It was almost like preaching to the choir.
Right.
So the whole time I was like processing, like, well, what are things that marches or protests can incorporate to make it more focused on the people who don't understand, or you know what I mean? Because then I hear people say, well, look at them blocking the highways and stuff. They're just, you know, trying to get themselves killed or whatnot. But I'm like, y'all ain't getting it. And if you guys are still not getting it, what's the point? Not saying that they're not useful, but it's just like, where can we meet
like,
in the middle?
Yeah, how can we create more, like, you know, education dialogue about, like, you know, why we're protesting and like what to do next after this protest,
right,
that sort of thing. Like, but then again, it's like, you know, we don't really have that organized leadership just yet to be like, okay, y'all, this is what's about to happen. Like, we all can get together, but we don't necessarily have, you know, that leadership basically that's like, okay, y'all, nationwide, like, here's what we're gonna do. Make sure you guys are in your local cities, constituencies, and like doing this. It's all gonna be super united. Pass this out to people to make sure they know to do this, that, and the third. That sort of thing. But, you know, it's always good, like, I guess media wise, to show that, you know, we do care about these things and we don't think it's right.
Yeah. I think it holds people accountable, you know, but I think you need people, those people who are out there like protesting and marching are risking their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are on the ground soldiers, and public opinion does matter. So, I mean, when they're out there and they're bringing media coverage to something, and we can talk about media in a different conversation, right? And just what they show and like just the cyclical images that they show all the time.
Yeah, right.
But I think, you know, sure, a march without action is just that. It's just a march. You know, but I think there are people on the ground who are doing really great work, and there are a lot of grassroots movements and projects that are going. You know, it only took Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton to, you know, and to be at what community college slips my mind right now. What community college did they go to? Right here. Merritt. Yeah, Merritt College. It just took two young men at Merritt College to be like, you know, we're tired of this, and they created the Black Panther Party. You know, so we can all be leaders and we can all play a part in this. And if that is protesting, great. If that means we doing damage in these city council meetings, and when I tell you guys, people go in at these city council meetings.
I've seen your
Elsa
Instagram lives.
loves, she comes back with all the tea from the city council meeting.
I mean, you seen it. Look at y'all really out here. But it's, I mean, the way, and I've learned so much just the way that they pass legislation. And there are some OGs in there, and I mean some like elders that are like in their 50s, 60s, who are on top of the agenda, the resolutions, who are calling out all of these council members, who are saying, you can't just pass this budget. Why are you allocating millions of dollars to a new sidewalk at the lake when we can be building homeless shelters? Yeah. So there's so many things that we don't know that get passed in our cities, and we're like, you know, and then we see new construction on these high rises, and we're like, how did that happen?
Right.
Oh, it happened because, you know what I'm
saying?
Y'all
weren't at the city council.
We weren't at the city council, and we all play a part in this. Like, we're all guilty of this. You know what I'm saying? I think things become sexy for a minute, and then, you know, people forget about it, and then it becomes sexy again, and then we're all on it. I think we all just need to focus on one thing that we want to improve and go for it. But that also means we have to unify, and I think it's good for our morale to go out there and protest and mess some shit up, and I like when we close down the highways. I'm proud of that. Like, I'm so proud of that. Like, I think that is just so Bay. Like, I think it is just so Oakland and so Berkeley, and just, it's just us. This is what we do, and we're not the only place, of course, that does it. But we need to be marching, I think. And I think we also need to understand what's going on in our local government and act on that and do something. We have to do something. We have to care. We have to be compassionate. You know, all of those things matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like how you guys were bringing up, you know, the actionable items that you guys do, from going to the city council meetings and joining local groups and calling your senators. What are some specific local groups that you guys have, joined or maybe are accessible on a national level that our people could start attending and being involved in to make an impact? Whoa.
Yeah. For me, again, if I had one power, if I had like the platform to say something to somebody or ask someone to do something and they do it, it would be to go to their city council meetings every month.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
And we might have to like create an event. I would love to do that and just be like on one Tuesday, because ours in Oakland is I think it's like the first Tuesday of every month. And it's just to like black it out. Have everybody in the town go to the city council meeting. And just be there and listen to what they're doing. And also show a presence, because these city council members are like, well, in their minds, they're like, well, nobody really cares. Oakland doesn't really care. Richmond doesn't really care. Right? Because these are public hearings, or not hearings, these are public meetings, but you only have, 15 people show up. Unless there's some kind of, outrage or whatever, then you have the whole place packed. But yeah, for me, I would love for people to go to their city council meetings and get more involved about what they like their city council, what they like about what their city council is doing, and what they do not like about what their city council is doing. Okay. Because when you go to these meetings, then you'll see where funds are going. So if you see that homelessness is a problem in Oakland, or gentrification is a huge problem in Oakland, and you're seeing where your government is allocating funds or mismanaging these funds, then you can now go out and say, okay, our city council is now, allocating $3 million to this new sidewalk when we can be allocating half of that to shelters. So now you have a reason to protest, and now you can create a specific plan. And so I think that would be it. Just be more aware of what your city council is doing.
Yes.
Very nice.
How about you, Anaya? Is there anything outside of that, or?
Well, I want to shout out a bunch of groups right now, and I'm like trying to look up names and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to leave the screen and mess up the recording. But I know like locally there is a few groups. There's the East Oakland Collective, and they do a lot of stuff in just East Oakland to feed the homeless, to clean up the streets, to just provide education around basically how people are kicking residents of East Oakland out of their homes. And they're doing a lot of groundwork, and it's actually very easy to get involved with them. They have a lot of events that you can volunteer at. Actually, we've been trying to see if we could partner with them on some sort of like volunteer project for people that just moved here and don't know how to get involved but want to get involved. So that's one group. Hack the Hood. They're huge, and they do a lot more outreach in terms of getting the youth involved with tech and education, building confidence. And we actually had the founder on our Black Women in Tech episode a couple episodes ago, Zakia Harris. She's amazing and doing awesome work. There's a bunch of groups out here, and I really wish I could remember everybody's name, but these are people that we've collaborated with or want to collaborate with, and we encourage people to like look up and try to see how they can get involved, because they're, from Oakland and representing Oakland and trying to build the city up and not just, make it this cool pop-in place for like maybe people like us or like whoever, but also make sure that they're taking care of those that have been here and maybe are struggling or have fallen on hard times. But yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. These are gems. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
No
of course.
All right. Well, I think Elsa kind of answered this a little bit, but I guess we can re-ask the question to both of you guys. So aside from the podcast for Oakland, about Oakland rather, what is one thing you would want to do for the city of Oakland and why?
Ooh, that's a good question.
For the city of Oakland, though.
The whole city, y'all.
Right, the
whole
city down.
All like 500,000 people. I don't know what the square footage is. Or square miles, mass, whatever.
That would have been hella funny if you listed all of that.
Right. Girl, let me get these stats.
The thing about, like, that's such a great question, but the thing about it is that, like, and one thing that at least I learned, I think we both learned when we first moved here, is that there is so much going on. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like almost everybody, most people, a lot of people are just trying to do something to benefit this city. So, like, whether it's like, you know, So Oakland doing a So Oakland week, shouting out all these Oakland-based brands and allowing them, giving them a space. Whether it's people like Travis from Fam Bam, and he does like a big July 4th party at the lake, and it's so community-based. Oakella, like, they're always out doing dope stuff, and like, just the Black Joy Parade, like that was like a whole parade that shut down downtown Oakland and like just created this like really, really, really safe and dope atmosphere for people to just come out and turn up.
Women in music.
There's just so many like things. So I'm like, damn, like I wonder what we could do for the city that would, like, you know, be different from what everyone else is already doing. There's so many great people
here.
The
arts are huge here.
Yeah,
like,
the arts. They just had the Oakland Mural Festival out here. Yeah, so like there's so many street artists. One of our first guests on our show lives down the street from us, and he creates a bunch of dope murals around West Oakland.
Shout out to Reef for One.
Yes.
Reef for One.
Okay.
Yes. And just like all of that. But I mean, if there's one thing we could do for Oakland that like I would love to do, and I'm trying to separate it from the podcast, but really like it's just sort of creating a way that like people who are coming here like already know what's up, if that makes any sense. Like basically like people that are coming here, like a lot of people that I know that come here are looking for an opportunity. Like maybe they're trying to get into tech, or like they got a job and they moved out here. But if they move out here and they already know, like if we were able to like touch them in some way and inform them about what Oakland is and how to respect Oakland before you even get here, and that's so when they do get here, they already are like, okay, I already know, you know, that I can't just be showing up to places and acting like I own it, or like I can't just be out here, you know, freaking running up on somebody's barbecue and trying to shut it down, like you know, like if we can somehow create some sort of etiquette around this is how you come into Oakland with respect, for people that are just moving here. That is something I would love to do.
That is dope. I like that. That's really dope. I like that a lot. Wow. I like that. Okay.
Something like that.
Almost being utilizing the platform to be the voice.
But I mean that's what I'm saying, it's hard to separate it from the podcast, because I think that's something we could do with the podcast, but just some sort of like, you know, just like, look, like you can't just like, out of all the cities in the US, maybe next to like Chicago, because you will get shot, but like out here, like just you don't just run up in areas that you're not supposed to be in, like that people already occupy, and the people are already like, you know, creating things, doing things, like trying to make the space better for their people and for the other residents of Oakland, but just some sort of like etiquette around that, and like you know, I feel like that would make people a lot more compassionate when they come here, and it won't be as like, you know, this takeover of like other people who, you know, the city wasn't necessarily built for them, but they're kind of taking it from the people it was built for.
Exactly. Yes. Okay, well, I feel like to be continued. We'll see what y'all come up with.
I'm excited, you know.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure though. No pressure though.
Right. Y'all put it out there already, so.
Yeah, we plant the seeds, you know.
It's in the atmosphere. We are speaking it into existence.
Exactly. Well, ladies, I can't explain how amazing this was. Yay. I don't know if you guys want to share any last comments before we close the discussion. No pressure.
Right.
No pressure.
I mean, definitely. Did we do a share circle? Did the share circle happen?
I'm dead. Look at Niall, y'all. I'm dead.
Well, I was just gonna shout out this event we have coming up.
Oh yes, please do.
Yes, please do.
So, and I don't know, by the time this drops, I don't think the event will happen, so people might be able to still come. But at the end of July, we were fortunate enough to be included in Oakland's Oakland Week.
Yay!
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. So we will be having a really fun / interesting event on, I think it's on July 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
July 31st, which is a Tuesday from 6 to 9. And it's going to be a transplant roast. Okay. So basically, like a city roast. So we're going to allow people a space to come in and either talk shit about a city, talk shit about, if you're from Detroit, you can come in, you can talk shit about the Bay, you can big up Detroit, you can, if you're from New York, you can, big up New York and talk about how great it is. Basically allowing people a space to roast each other's cities.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
because
nice.
when you meet people, it's always oh, where are you from? And usually they're not from here. And so it's okay, they're oh, I'm from New York. And you're oh, New York. Okay. So y'all be hella tight and hella pressed and trying to get everywhere fast. Y'all are hella rude and all these stereotypes. And it's no. So we're trying to give people a space to either just kind of hop on those stereotypes and make it in a funny, lighthearted way, or just clear up whatever stereotypes there are about their cities.
Okay.
So it'll be a fun little event, July 31st, and we're hoping people come out and have a good time.
Yeah, and you gotta come dressed though.
Yes.
Representing your city. So a jersey, a throwback jersey. Think early 2000s. We want y'all to get obnoxious with it.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to, if you're not creative and you just don't have the money, it's all good. Just get a shirt, write San Jose on it, write Sacramento on it, come in, whatever. It doesn't have to be too crazy, but yeah, we want everybody to come repping where they're from.
Right.
I'm
that sounds beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely try to make it out there.
Yes.
Yes.
DJ Simone will be on the 1s and 2s, aka Elsa.
Wow.
I was waiting for that. I was
Am I?
As well as an international DJ flying out from Jamaica to come DJ. DJ Cool Breeze will be in the house.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to tell them who that is?
Marlon, that's my boo, Marlon. This girl, I'm trying to big him up and make it sound like we got freaking Diplo coming in. But yeah.
He can still be Diplo?
No, he Diplo,
He can
but
be Watch Fire. What you mean?
I was trying to, he had the plug, so he'll be DJing, and it'll be it'll be them too, and then yeah. So.
Girl,
she's I never got the memo.
Right. She tried it.
Live.
Anaya will be emceeing though. She will be the host for the night. So
okay,
we in that thing.
Yes. Anyways,
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we hope you guys can come through.
Awesome. Well, ladies. Oh yeah, and give us your plugs. I know the website. This is Oakland.com, not Wokeland.com.
No. It is not Wokeland.com. It is This is Wokeland.com.
Yes.
WOKELAND. And we are a Wokeland podcast on Instagram, Wokeland on Twitter and Facebook. And we're pretty much available on all podcast platforms except for Google Play because they hating right now.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. We tried to submit it and it was saying something about something, so we got to figure it out. But
you're live.
Right. But we're on Spotify and iTunes and all of that. So check us out. If you guys want to hear some dope Oakland based content.
Yes. Well, the Simones, thank you so much for making this collab happen.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the
we're,
pod for sure.
We're so excited to see what comes up next, whether it be on your episodes or in Oakland itself.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We're
We're excited for you guys.
Us.
And congrats on completing your first season. We are halfway there.
Yeah.
So shout out to y'all.
We want to be you guys when we grow up. For real, for real. It's a
That's
lot of
crazy.
time. It takes a lot of time, energy, creativity to do what you do on a weekly basis. So thank you for reaching out to us and making this happen. We really appreciate it.
You're
awesome.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm blushing and stuff.
Hella Foreign Podcast. Big up yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. And to Wokeland, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, y'all. We are back.
Yes.
It was amazing talking to the Simones.
Thank you, Wokeland.
Yes, thank you again for your time and what am I trying to say? But yes, just thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So yes, now we are in the share circle. It was Father's Day last weekend, and my dad is in New Mexico, so I was unable to celebrate with my brother on their day. But I feel like this is very relevant. Just having the opportunity to interview with Wokeland, do this podcast, ending our first season. Something that we grew up on that my dad would remind us every time is it's better to try and fail than to fail to try. Give that opportunity and just see where it goes. And I feel like that's exactly what we did here with this passion project and what I've been doing in my personal life. So special shout out to Pops for that message and always being there and supporting my dreams and aspirations. But yes, happy belated Father's Day to all of the fathers out there.
All the dads
who've made it number one to be a great father for their family.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my Father's Day. Yes, exactly. And like, damn, like people do not care about Father's Day. It's so crazy. But I love my dad. So love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day. And my other shares, I've been seeing a lot of podcasts that from other Black women and men. So I definitely want to shout out a couple that I saw that I started to listen to. So outside of Wokeland, hey y'all, again, this is Wokeland.com. You can find them on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. So definitely check out Wokeland if you haven't already. I just found out about Bag Ladies, Ladiez, with Stephanie Lina. That was on SoundCloud, which is fun. Dasarte Yarnway, he started his podcast called Young Money Podcast. So definitely check that out. So great to see him launch that so we could get our little trinkets on our financial journey. So definitely check that out. Amanda Seals also has a podcast called Small Doses. Definitely love how it shares a different perspective on sort of things that are going on. And then my little laughter fun podcast, definitely want to shout out Late Night Whenever with Michelle Buteau. Basically, she's my great fix when Two Dope Queens is off season. It's really fun. It's great to, she's a comedian. She invites other people to the show. They play games and whatnot. So definitely check those out. Last share, because I just found this out, but Miss almost forgot her name. Oh gosh, Beyonce. Beyonce found out that her merch.
Beyonce's name.
Because I was gonna say Baychella. I'm like, that's not it.
So dead.
All right, don't hate, y'all. Do not hate. But yes, Miss Beyonce, or Mrs. Beyonce rather, her merch from Coachella is actually made from Haiti. So those of you who've purchased her merch, you guys are definitely supporting Haiti. So that's awesome. Kudos to her and giving that platform to a different country. But yes, those are my shares for this week. How about you, sis?
Yeah, so I got one share. It's a book called What Truth Sounds Like by Michael Eric Dyson. My roommate actually has a copy, and I've seen a few pictures, people reading it on social media this past week. So he really does. So Michael Eric Dyson is sociologist and political commentator.
Okay.
And he does a nice wide-ranging analysis of American race. And he starts off by talking about this meeting that happened in 1963 between a senator and a group of notable African Americans, and then from there just does a deep dive analysis how we've got from there into what is happening now in terms of racial tension in the United States. That's all I can say without having to kill it too much. So
okay.
Definitely.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, great non-fictional book, I think, worth checking out. He even quotes some pop culture people that we relate to, your Jay-Z or Beyonce, Black Lives Matter, and Bernie Sanders, people that we know today. So yes, check that out. Book is called What Truth Sounds Like by Michael Eric Dyson.
Dope. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yes, that is it, y'all. That is our first season, y'all.
Woo!
Yes, we will be back at the end of the summer, but you know, we just need a little break, okay? But we love y'all. Please continue to listen, share, comment, repost.
Yep.
This has been an amazing journey so far, and can't wait to see what we come up with next.
Yep.
Yeah. So with that, bye, y'all.
Till next time.